Why is XXXTENTACION at war with the Illuminati? That is the question that you're probably asking yourself, and I'm going to paint a picture for why X is doing the things that he does, saying the things that he says in these songs, and why the Illuminati has targeted him, has labeled him a threat. Let's look into his lyrics on the 17 album so you can see exactly why they think that he is a danger and that he has to be stopped. If you haven't seen part one, then stop this video and go watch part one so you can understand the references that I'm talking about. And if you haven't listened to 17, also stop and listen to 17 because I cannot play the songs on YouTube. So it'll help you better understand these tracks if you can physically hear them. Let's start with Jocelyn Flores. My interpretation of this track is it serves as the reason, it serves as the base of X's insanity, you could say, his depression. It serves as the foundation to where he bases all of his emotions from. Now, it's not just the person, Jocelyn Flores, so that's why I'm going to show you these lyrics where he states what contributed to the genesis of his mind state. The entire song is essentially the reason. He talks about how the girl kills herself, how he hates himself, he's pessimistic, how people want to see him fail, how people are judging him off of the decisions that he made and his recollection of his uncle's suicide. He refers to being locked up as giving him mental scars. The entire song is it's a list. It's a compilation of reasons of why he is XXXTentacion. And the track is appropriately named Jocelyn Flores, as she is probably the main reason. The second track is Depression and Obsession. So this is the track where a lot of questions were raised in my head. I was under the assumption that Judas was not only depressed, but also in a way obsessed with his friend Jesus. And that's where I tried to draw the parallel. But as I'm researching for information on Judas and his mind state and what does the Bible say about Judas, it was extremely hard to find information about Judas the person. But one thing that I did stumble upon was a book called the Urantia Book, which gives a very detailed character portrait of Judas the person. And it's hard to find any other place on the internet that has such a detailed description of Judas. And when you read the Urantia's book of their description of Judas, you begin to see where the parallels that X is drawing from. He's drawing from these verses from the Urantia book, as he did probably the same thing I did, which was look for more information on Judas. So let me now read you a passage from the Urantia book detailing an experience between Jesus and Judas. It says, "But these wicked and dangerous ideas did not take definite shape until the day when a grateful woman broke an expensive box of incense at Jesus' feet. This seemed wasteful to Judas, and when his public protest was so sweepingly disallowed by Jesus right there in the hearing of all, it was too much. That event determined the mobilization of all the accumulated hate, hurt, malice, prejudice, jealousy, and revenge of a lifetime, and he had made up his mind to get even with he knew not whom, but he crystallized all of the evil of his nature upon the one innocent person in all the sordid drama of his unfortunate life, just because Jesus happened to be the chief actor in the episode which marked his passing from the progressive kingdom of light into that self-chosen domain of darkness." Let me now read you the lyrics to Depression and Obsession, the second track on the 17 album. It says, "Depression and obsession don't mix well. I'm poisoned and my body doesn't feel well. I ate her inside and out. I feel my stomach turning. Make out hill where we met. We let our lips do the talking and now I'm hooked. Now, if you consider the passage from the Urantia book, the depression and obsession lyrics become very different. Now, it says depression and obsession don't mix well, which was probably what Judas was feeling towards Jesus. It says, I'm poisoned and my body doesn't feel well, which probably then refers to the bad emotions that Judas was harboring towards Jesus, and the parallel is then drawn where X is also harboring these bad feelings. He says, I ate her inside and out. I feel my stomach turning. Now, if you go back to the passage where the Urantia book states that what happened was when that woman approached Jesus and broke an expensive box of incense at his feet, Judas was irate. He was so mad, and his public protest, as it says, was so sweepingly disallowed by Jesus right there. It was too much for him. He couldn't handle the fact that his emotions were so intense in defending his friend. He couldn't take that his friend couldn't reciprocate that love for him. Okay? The woman in that passage is represented in X's life as Jocelyn Flores. She is the catalyst that starts, by quote of the Urantia book, self-chosen domain of darkness. If you look back at the lyrics of Depression and Obsession, he says, I ate her inside and out. I feel my stomach turning. I think what he's saying here is a reference back to the Urantia book, where Judas essentially berated the woman who broke the box at Jesus' feet. And there's this saying where you say that you choose someone out when you give them a stern talking to. He said he ate her inside and out. I feel my stomach turning. If you look at the lyrics, this is the third time in 3 lines where he says that something is not going right inside of his body. The depression and obsession don't mix well. He's poisoned and his body doesn't feel well. He ate her inside out and his stomach is turning. And the very next line says, make out hill where we met. We let our lips do all the talking and now I'm hooked. You see, that's the eruption of the emotion that X was holding inside for the past 3 lines that he was talking about, where he doesn't feel well. But where X differs from Judas is that he's referring to a mind state, not necessarily a relationship. So he says something at the end of that which is disturbing, which is, now I'm hooked. This is another declaration from X that not only is he in that mind state, but also that he's addicted to being in that mind state. Now, these parallels that I drew were not possible without quotes from the Urantia book. Now, this book is very important if you're trying to understand XXXTENTACION. The parallels that he gets from this book apply to himself so well, it's scary how well it is. And in the next episode, I'm going to dive into exactly what these parallels are, and we're going to talk about that war with the Illuminati.